To the president's decision today. John Hoeven is a Republican senator from North Dakota. Senator, thanks for being here.
Good to be with you, Brett.
Your reaction to this today?
Well, look, it's no surprise, but he made the political decision. The American people overwhelmingly support this project. Rather than deciding for energy for the American people, he made the political decision, and really the winner's OPEC. This is the kind of decision that, prevents us from building the energy infrastructure we need, producing more energy here at home. So we go back to relying on energy from places like the Middle East.
The company was going to pull back the project, and then this decision happened officially.
Yeah.
How do you think that broke down?
The whole thing was very odd. We talked to the company, we talked to, obviously, the Canadian government, and the State Department had contacted TransCanada and said, will you withdraw the project? This was like, withdraw the application. This was like last Friday. Company said no. So the State Department said, well, how about if you pause it and put out a press release you're willing to do that, which the company agreed to do. They do that on Monday. Tuesday, Josh Earnest says, nope, we're not going to pause the project. And then they get a letter rejecting the request for the pause or suspension. And today the president comes out and declines the project. Again, all political, not following the law or the regulation as they're supposed to do.
For the people who say, listen, this isn't good for the environment, this wasn't the right plan, this, they argue all kinds of points about this, despite what the State Department report had said over several years. What do you say to them?
They need to read the environmental impact statement. Look, this was a 7-year process, and the comments the president made today actually are contradicted by the State Department report and the environmental impact statement, which says no significant environmental impact. And so, again, ironically now this oil is going to move. It's still going to be produced in Canada and up in our part of the country, Montana, North Dakota, but it's moving by rail rather than by pipe, and you actually have higher greenhouse gas emissions versus building the pipeline.
Here is another element the president talked about today, specifically addressing Congress. Take a listen.
Okay.
The pipeline would not make a meaningful long-term contribution to our economy. So if Congress is serious about wanting to create jobs, this was not the way to do it. If they want to do it, what we should be doing is passing a bipartisan infrastructure plan that in the short term could create more than 30 times as many jobs per year as the pipeline would.
Your response, Senator.
Yes, so that's what I'm saying. His comments are directly contradicted by the State Department report and the environmental impact statement. Look, this pipeline is part of building the energy infrastructure we need so that we can produce energy in this country and become energy secure or energy independent. But you need the pipelines, the transmission lines, the road, and the rail to move that energy from where it's produced to where it's consumed. So, right, he turns this project down now when prices are low. Like I say, great news for OPEC, because after a while, when prices start going back up, they're back in the driver's seat, and we haven't made the investments that we need to make to become energy self-sufficient. Think about if you're a company or a CEO and you're contemplating investing the hundreds of millions or billions into building infrastructure, and you have this kind of arbitrary process.
We have talked about, covered Keystone for a long time. There are a lot of other pipelines in our country.
Right.
Do you think that this, if a Republican president gets elected, that this is one of the first things that happens?
Sure. No question, if we get a Republican president in office, this will be approved. We have the support in Congress to do it. The challenge is going to be whether we can get enough votes to override his veto. We're at 63, so we need 4 more in the Senate. They're close in the House. Or whether we can attach it to other legislation to get something done sooner, or in the event that we have a Democrat president.
Are you going to try that?
Oh, sure, absolutely. But again, this is about, and this will be certainly an issue in the presidential campaign. Are we going to produce the energy in this country and build the energy infrastructure we need to move it safely and efficiently, or are we going to continue to rely on energy from the Middle East? That's the question, and you know what the American people want. They want to produce that energy here at home and work with our closest ally, Canada.
Senator, thanks for being here.
Thanks, appreciate it.